I made this with infusible ink using my Cricut about a year ago. Today we're going to make one using Siser Romeo. Let's get started. It's Romeo Wednesday. Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are making the mommy shirt with the knockout text in the middle, and I'm very excited to share this process with you. As always, I am going to take you step by step through the full tutorial. Now, I did already make this shirt with my Cricut, and I will make sure that this tutorial is linked below the video. The one thing that's different in this tutorial is the font that I'm using, but I'm going to show you all the things. At the end of this video, if you find it helpful, please consider liking the video, subscribing to my channel, and turning on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's look at the materials and then dive right in to Leonardo Design Studio. The materials I'm using for this project include, of course, my Siser Romeo. I'm using 2 sheets of Cricut Infusible Ink, a 100% polyester shirt. This is the Make Market brand that I purchased from Michael's. I'll use the Siser High Tack Matte, and I will be using that heat press back there. That is the 15 by 15 clamshell heat press by Starcraft. And I will leave a link below the video in order for you to check and see if there's one in stock, but they have not been in stock for a while now. Now let's head over to the computer and get into Leonardo Design Studio. Before we go into Leonardo Design Studio, let me show you the font that I'm using for my children's names. I'm using this one called Hello Sophie, and I downloaded it already from the Creative Fabrica website. Another font that I found that I like, if you don't find this one as appealing, there's another one that's called Dear Heart, and it looks like this. I love this font as an option also. So I'll make sure that both of these are linked below the video in case you want to check this one out. Dear Heart and Hello Sophie. Now let's head into Leonardo Design Studio. I am in Leonardo Design Studio, and the first thing I'll do is go down here and select the T for text, and I'm going to type the word mommy because that's what my kids call me. If your kids call you mama or mom, that's what you would type, and if you are an auntie, you will be typing that. So type the word that fits you or the title that fits you the most. So I'm going to type mommy. And I'm typing in all caps, and I do have the bold option selected, and I do not have auto weld, but I do have show glyphs. Okay, I'm going to click apply, and it's pink because I was practicing and I was using a pink color option before the recording started. What I'll do now is resize this, so I'll just make it bigger. I do want this to be a lot bigger and taller, and I know I want the width to be right at about 10 point, let's do 10.7 for my width, and let's see, for the height, let's change the height to 5.5. Okay, I think that looks good. I think I might want to make it a little bit taller, but I do want to keep the proportions. Let's unlock the proportions and go back to that 10.7 width. Let's try 10.8. Okay, 10.9 is definitely a little bit too big. Let's try 10.9. And let's do a height of 6.0. Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair size. Now what I'm going to do is just move this text up, and I'll click out. So I don't have anything selected right now. The next thing I'll do is go back and grab a text box again, and I'm going to turn the caps lock off. And I'm going to type my kid's name. So I'll type Miles first. And I'm using that font that's called Hello Sophie. And I really like that one because it's so bold. I really like it. So I'm going to remove the S, and I'm going to use one of the S's that already has the heart. All right, and now I'll type Madison without the N because I want the N with the heart. And then I'll type Morgan without the N. And I don't want this to be centered. Actually, I want this to have no wrap, so it all stays together on one line. And I don't care that their names are not touching. That is not going to impact me at all. Okay, so what I'll do now is click apply. And I'll change the color of their text. Let's just change it to black for now. And I'll resize it so that it fits on top of mommy. And that it fits on the top of this mat. I don't need it to be bigger than 12. So let's make this let's try 11.5 for the width. And let's change the height. Let's change the height to 3.0. Oh, I don't like that. Let's try 2.5. Let's try 2.0. I think 2.0 is good. Okay, that's great. Now what I'll do is I will actually just double check by centering this. I'll select both, and I'm going to click Arrange, Align Objects, and Center. Okay, let's look at that. Arrange, Align Objects. Okay, now it's centered. Okay, so now I can start to see if I like it like this. Kind of don't feel like it's centered. I feel like Morgan is a little bit more to the right, so I can just kind of center this better myself. I feel like I can. And let's move mommy. Now what I'm going to do is add an offset to their names. So I'll click on their names, I'll click on build contours, editable contour, include holes, and I will bring the contour up. Let's bring the contour up to right at about 0.063, and let's actually change the color of the contour so we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so there's the contour right there, and I'm going to click apply. Now with the contour selected, what I'll do is I'll get the black layer, which is the top layer, and I will select the word mommy and the offset layer. I'll select both, and I will go down here to my panel at the bottom, and I'm going to use the option to remove the front. Okay, so that removed everything from the front, and that will allow me to layer their names right here in the middle like this. I think it's going to be easy enough. I hope it is going to be easy enough. Okay, now what I'm also going to do with their names is I'm going to right click on this and go to edit. No, I'm going to go to paths and weld, because I definitely want this to be all one flat layer. Okay, so now I think we are good to go. And what I'll do now is I will click Send Design, and I'm going to click Send. And because I'm using Infusible Ink, I know that I need to mirror my designs, both of them. I'm going to select Mirror, and it will automatically mirror the second mat, which is perfect. And I will get this cut out, and everything I'll do from here will be back on the camera. I have my first mat loaded. This is the sheet that will have their names. I'm doing it with Infusible Ink in blue. The mat is mirrored, but the Infusible Ink is on the mat face up. The cut settings that I'm using is a speed of 10 and a force of 50. I think I have it on 57. I'm going to click Send to Cutter, and yes, and my Romeo will start to cut this out. I'll speed this part up. I have weeded the parts in between their names that I don't need for the design. I did save the hearts, and I'll put them somewhere on the shirt after I decide where I want to put them. Now I'm going to start to weed away Mommy. And with infusible ink, you do all of the weeding with your fingers. So I'm just going to find a corner and start to weed away. I have both parts of the design weeded out, and what I'm going to do is change of plans. What I'm actually going to do is remove their names from the backing very carefully. Now, this is why it's important to make sure that the names are welded so that they are really attached very well. And so I'm just removing Miles's name first, and I will use the hearts that are on the Mommy part of the file to line up the names. So I'm lining his up first, and I'll use the rest of the file, the Mommy part, to line it up. So you'll see that I'm going to line up his name, and I can see where it's cut out, but I'm really using where the heart goes to line up the rest of his name. I'm going to do the same thing with Madison's name, and I'll follow the same procedure with Morgan's name, just by lining it up with the hearts. Once I was finished with all of their names, I just used those extra hearts and put them in between 3 random letters. Now let's move over to the heat press. I have the heat press set for 400 degrees. I'm going to lint roll, and I already have butcher paper inside the shirt. Add butcher paper on top and do a quick pre-press. I'm going to add the design face down, double checking the design, making sure it looks like I think it should look. I think it's going to look great. Let's make sure Morgan's name is in the proper place. It's going to be great. Now I'm going to place this face down on the shirt, about 3 fingers from the collar. Butcher paper on top. I'm going to press this for 400 degrees for 60 seconds. This is always my favorite part. Let's see what it looks like with our peel reveal. Let's get it. Oh my gosh. That is the finished shirt, and you already know I'm going to say I love it. I love it. Hopefully you love it too, and you feel confident enough to try this. Remember, infusible ink is sublimation ink, and you can do this. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. If you have found this helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.